Hello fellow humans and welcome to this week's shop and event review. Now, the event is very straightforward. You can get a tier 5 and that's about it. And then you also have access to a crate system where you have to get 19. One of these costs 1.3k gold, so it's not worth it. And if you get one of these crates, the Wandering Merchant's Chest, you have access to the Dracula, Lycan, the Helsing, and the Pharao. Now, this is the new tank, obviously. Is it anything interesting? No, you can pen the turret with pretty much a lot of tanks. Now, 195mm, all the premium rounds are going to go straight through. So, that's not impressive. Upper hull, 120mm, so you will struggle to pen that. So, that is definitely solid. Gun depression is 7 degrees, so it'll be limited effectiveness. It's basically a shit. You have a mobility that's okay. And then the gun, 250 alpha damage, 185 penetration, so it works. Nothing special, nothing you have to have. However, check out today's stream because I can give away some crates of these. Don't buy crates, by the way. Take them for free, don't buy them. That's how crates work. Any crate that is bought is a holder crate. Already established that again, like in every of these shop review videos, that crates are in fact a scam. Don't buy them. It's like Dracula, Arsenal, Helsing, Arsenal. These aren't too bad. Can be worth it, certainly. The Titan 54D is stupid. Now, you have a tank that is mediocre at a price that is double that of what it should be. This is a 6k tank at best. And now it's 15 or 12.5k without the stuff. Now, then we have the Skorpion G and the SU-130. We'll get into that more later. And other than that, you have like these things that always happen. If you need gold, get them. If you don't. It's very easy to think about that. And then you have stuff like this, which just, I mean, it can be a fun little thing to get, but no. Still no. And also still no right here. And then Premium Pass, if you play a lot, can be really worth it. Shit. And then we get to the tank section again. And then we have two vehicles here, Skorpion and the SU-130. Now, is the SU-130 better than the Skorpion G? I think not. However, it is cheaper, which means if you buy one of these, get the SU-130 because of it cheaper. You get both. They're both excellent tanks, can both be very good. Let's have a look at them. A lot of people always talk about the SU-130 having a higher camo rating, but the thing is, 8% while after shooting and 3% after shooting is like 10 meters, so it doesn't really make a difference. Skorpion has the better gun here, slightly higher DPM, has better dispersion values, better accuracy. However, it does have worse aim time. Then the SU-130 is the one that is more mobile, has the better acceleration. However, the worst top speed. Skorpion G has 55. You will notice this like 3 effective power. That's when you start to notice the difference between the tanks. And then armor, they don't have any, obviously. And then the Skorpion G has a fully traversable turret, and the SU-130 does not. However, the Skorpion only has 6 degrees, and the SU-130 has 7. So basically, in terms of the value, they're very similar. They also play relatively similar, and you should get, first of all, if you're a good player, and if you want this kind of tank, you should get whichever one that is cheaper, or both. And now we get into the gaming section, and I already did this before, but NVIDIA Shadowplay wanted to not record my audio, even though it was on, so now we gotta do this again. So, thanks NVIDIA. So, at this point, we have that happening, which is never really a great thing. And you don't want to have a passive team with this kind of tank, because the more passive your team is, the closer you are to the enemy. And you ideally don't want to be that close, unless you really know what you're doing. So, in this kind of situation, there's 2 options, and that is try to fight up close, or reposition to a part of the map where there is no enemy. So that's what I'm gonna do here, because if I stay in the same spot, that is gonna end very badly for me. Which is not what I want to happen, because here's the thing, you know, even if you have a bad team, you can still do well. That's 2 separate entities, right? Your performance and the team's performance, they do have something to do with each other, because obviously if your team disintegrates within a minute, you can't do 5k damage. However, you can always do the best that you can, despite having a pretty bad team, right? Now, at this point, we're gonna get out of there. Now, the greatest thing about the Skorpion G, and the biggest advantage that it does have, is the fully traversable turret, which means, for example, if I'm getting up this hill, there's a Yak Panther there, I can now turn my turret, and I can shoot at the Yak Panther. Didn't quite work out, but I can do that. The SU-130 can't do that. So, in terms of a dynamic playstyle, the Skorpion G is going to work better because of its turret. Now, It is higher, which is largely a factor of why the camera rating is better, because in a lot of cases, camera rating is based on the tank's height. So, yeah, now. At this point, it's a 5v5, so not looking too bad so far. But yeah, that's gonna change. And yeah, very fast. They're both dead, which is not good. Now I'm gonna shoot HE at the Arc Panther there. He's gone, he's dead. Now it is 3 versus 4, which is not nice. And there is the Pharao thing already. Now, it's a fine tank, right? It'll do its job. But it's like if a Lycan got lupus. Like, you know, because the tank yeah. I'm not funny, I know, but that's basically what the Pharao is. And unfortunately, well, Lycan has a pretty damn good turret, the Pharao does not. So it's a tank that you can get if it were 4k gold, but other than that, it's not worth it. I mean, it looks cool, yes, but looks ain't worth anything, right? So at this point, the team's gone. The only thing I have is that P43 that was camping earlier, so he's most likely not going to be a very big help, and now he's dead. But despite having a not good team here, I still did 2k damage because I positioned myself accordingly. That's the thing that you're going to have to learn eventually to understand, to see, okay, this is going to be a loss, I'm going to have to play it differently, right? Because if you then still try to play balls to the wall and fight everyone, you'll do a lot worse. Because in a situation like that, you sit back, you know, and then you play off your team to get some damage and maybe even win because of that. But probably not, but still, it's possible. Probably not going to happen though. Now we got to the 130. And this thing, I should aim at one point. This thing does have not a fully traversable turret, but it's slightly faster. And it does have, well, the better camera rating for those that actually care about that. But yeah, in large cases, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. This is not World Tanks PC. So, it can make, like, tiny differences, but, I mean, it won't matter much. So, the main difference between the Skorpion G and the SU-130 is that the Skorpion has a slightly better gun, but it's bigger, it's a bigger target, but it has a traversable turret, and this SU-130 is slightly faster. That's the most important difference between the two. And obviously, which one should you get is the one that's cheaper. It's that simple. Whichever one of these two is cheaper is the better one to buy. Because they're pretty much identical in terms of what they can do. So in this case, the 130 is the better option. Now obviously only get them if you're a tank destroyer player and if you like this kind of tank. And also if you're good at this kind of tank. So you don't want to spend 10k then play a tank that you suck at. That's not cool. That's a 7-0. That's why you don't go city. So, bad idea. Thank you for watching. See you next one. Goodbye.